Many people find meditation to be very hard and very complicated. What makes somatic breath work or breathing exercises kind of a supreme practice, and any kind of breathing exercise really, is because we have been conditioned for years and years and years to fill our head full of something. We must turn in a paper. We have to be at work on time. We have to answer something to our husband. We have to answer something to our wife. Each day we are continuously filling our heads with things, nonsense. Then we sit down and meditate and we give up because we can't empty our mind. It makes perfect sense. I want us to think about breathing exercises and meditation kind of like your room. If you had a house or your room for 20 years and you got up every morning and you never washed the sheets, you never made the bed, you never cleaned out anything in the room, can you imagine the filth and the clutter and probably the diseases or rashes or things you'd get by this room? When you decide to clean it, you have many things you're going to have to throw away. You're probably going to discover stuff for a couple of weeks. You're going to discover things that bring good memories, things that bring bad memories. And the funny thing about our mind is when we're done eating, we do dishes. When we're done doing crafts, we pick up the mess. Some of us, not all of us. We have a habit of cleaning our cars. We have a habit of picking up things after we make messes, or to keep up with things so things aren't out of control in our lives. But the one thing we do neglect is our mind, our well-being. We never clean out our mind after a week of stress, accusations. Sorry, I can't talk today. Accusations. We never clean up our mind out of heartbreak. Many of us, when we have heartbreak, we get in more heartbreak, we get in more bad habits. So, breathing exercises are a way to get our nervous system, our neurological system, to stop, calm down, reevaluate, and and I hate to say this because it's used way too much, but to get back in touch with ourselves. We are filled with so many emotions, so many things in the air, music, movies, trauma. Then we fill ourselves full of chemicals. It's no wonder we don't know who we are. It's no wonder we reach a point in our life that we are confused and we don't know where to turn. We've been turning away from ourselves for a long time. And breathing exercises helps to stop the mind, helps to calm the mind, helps to get the mind to, let's stop and have a conversation. Meditation for some, where they try to blank out their mind, try not to think about anything, it's almost like they're eating a sandwich while vomiting. Maybe if I eat the right food while I'm vomiting, it'll calm my stomach down. It sounds ridiculous, but many of us, we know this is what happens in our mind when we try to meditate. This is why we give up. And that in itself is a meditation. We get divorced, our mind races trying to solve things, and sometimes we make matters worse. We get fired from a job, we make matters worse because our mind is constantly running, struggling. This intellect, this intelligent thing in our head, if we're not careful, can be used against us. We can turn it into our worst enemy. With somatic breathing, with breathing exercises, we come back to ourselves. We come back to our roots. We come back to who are we without our story of divorce? Who are we without needing a man in our life? Who are we before we got a hold of a crazy woman that divorced us and took us for all we're worth? What would we have been if it wasn't for the abuse of our father? What would we have been if I hadn't had a crazy mother? Do you ever look at yourself and wonder, who could this person be without carrying so many weights in the head. And that's what I work on. That's what we work on in our somatic breathwork workshops. We get down to the root. We get down to our deepest self, our self that has never really fully been able to come forth. And I'm not talking about identities. Sometimes when people hear this, they think about, oh yeah, I've always wanted to explore this identity or that identity. I'm talking about without the story, period. I don't care who your background is. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what political affiliation you have. I don't care what you think you are. The point of these exercises is, what am I without identifying with these things that are around me? What am I in the silence? What am I without the noise? I like to give an analogy. I like to use music. There is always silence. There is silence behind the sound. Without silence, sound cannot exist. Think about it for a minute. You have to have crisp, cool air, no noise for music to carry through, for car traffic to carry through, for mom yelling at me to carry through. So for sound to exist, there has to be this silence. With somatic breathing, we're tapping in to this silence. What is this without music? Part of that analogy is, let's say you're out in the yard. You hear the neighbor playing bachata music. You hate it, you can't stand it, it makes you grumpy. Somebody over here is playing Marilyn Manson, and you love Marilyn Manson, but today you're not in the mood for it. Someone in the back is playing country after these guys settle down. And you're like, my God, am I ever just going to get any peace? Those things influence you. That influences the silence. Those create the mood of the silence. So therefore, today's pattern is created by these things that fill the air. So what I mean by that is the way our soul, our mind, and our body are. We're influenced by external things that fill us and create us and make us be this way or that way. What would that day feel like and be without all these distractions of all these songs? That is what happens inside of us, all this background noise. This background noise that comes from abuse, from people telling me I'm not good enough, from choosing career paths where you're never going to be good enough. Not because of you, just because that's the way the career path is. We start to create something that we identify with that doesn't exist, but we buy into it. It makes us alcoholics. It makes us suicidal. It drives us out of our mind. Sometimes it'll cause us to divorce. It might cause us to become abusive. With somatic breath work, we walk with a higher power. And this might scare some people off because there's people anti-religious. But what I mean by higher power is, whether you realize it or not, you are worshiping a higher power. Anger is a higher power. You're searching for answers because this thing keeps destroying you. Alcohol can be a higher power because it controls you. Addictions can be a higher power. This higher power is a higher power that we're exploring, that we've never talked to, never explored with. That higher power can be joy. When I choose to start to clean the stuff in my life and in my head, the negative thinking, if I enjoy painting and I want to embrace painting and it brings me happiness and joy, I might want to put my mind more on this emotion, more on this craft, then putting more into abuse, then putting more into negative self-talk. Today I'm a failure, but you know what? I'm going to enjoy painting a circle. We're not alive very long, so we might as well enjoy the moment. One thing that they teach addicts is one day at a time. And I think addicts and even people outside of addiction take advantage of this thought, one day at a time. One day at a time, though, is in the moment. Here and then now is eternity. I can choose the diabolical or I can choose the heavenly. Today I want to walk in heaven. Heaven isn't a place I go to when I die. It's a place I cultivate right now. One last thought to close this video is I want you to think about a dog. My one dog that I have, there is a chew for the teeth, to keep the teeth clean. It's in the shape of an alligator. The alligator fell from the table to the floor. And I noticed my dog is looking at this thing on the floor, and I didn't realize it fell at the time. It's wagging its tail, barking, playing around, making circles. And I grabbed the alligator, and for a good 2 or 3 days, this dog carried the alligator everywhere with it, being very careful with it. Going up to everybody, showing the alligator. Rolling on the alligator, sleeping with the alligator, chewing on the alligator. I have never seen that much joy in any creature. But that, my friend, is one day at a time, in the moment, keeping it simple. Dogs are happier because they're simple creatures. Us human beings, we have to suffer this, we have to suffer that. I'm suffering because I'm not married. I'm married, now I suffer. I want this job because I'm suffering, I'm going to starve. I get the job, now I'm suffering. We're constantly suffering. We're a very hard creature to make happy. And even though some of us have legitimate reasons to be suffering, we also have legitimate reasons to cling toward the heavenly. And when I refer to heavenly, I'm not referring to any religious idea or anything with religion. Heavenly is joy. Heavenly is happiness. Heavenly is being in the moment without heart palpitations. That is walking in the heavenly. Choosing today that I am not going to let this thing in my mind constantly run everything I do. Sitting at the table with loved ones, looking down, depressed, while you're missing the moment of the joy. The reason why I point out the dog is because many of us don't want to be bothered with that. We have too many things we have to do. We have phone calls, paperwork, have to go chase down this person, have to go chase down that person, have to rush, have to hurry. Slave system. And we miss the joy that the dog is trying to share. This is why we're so negative. This is why we're so broken and we're hopeless. Is all the beautiful things around us that are bringing us joy are not important enough. The phone call is more important than spending time with the hummingbirds outside. Rushing to go to a job that is being taken over by computers instead of embracing the joy of this dog is more important. And while I'm not talking about being a hippie, giving up your job so you can just hang out with the hummingbirds and dogs, the point I'm trying to make is you might have a better workday, 5 minutes with the hummingbirds. You might have a better life pursuing the small things that are in your reach instead of the large things that are beyond your reach. Going too far with these thoughts, so I wanted to stick with somatic breathing. But somatic breathing opens you up to this, because these thoughts we're having a hard time clearing out of our head so that I can take time to meditate. Somatic breathing stops It calms down the fight or flight mechanism, and we turn to rest and digest. Digest and process traumas. Process joys. Breathing in life, breathing out death. We have to be careful. When I breathe in and I hold the breath in my chest, like so many of us do when we're under tension, I am giving life to tension. No. I want the tension to leave, die, get away from me. I cast ye out from amongst me. I do not want to breathe in and I'm giving life and storing the tension. I'm respecting the tension. No. Get away from me, tension. My dog comes up to me joyful. Take in the joy. Give that moment life. You have the power of the heavenly and the diabolical in your system. I breathe in life, making my wife's day easier, making my husband's day easier. Breathing out the tension, being upset, being angry. Something's not right, something's not perfect. You have no place in my soul. This is somatic breathing. Giving life and casting out the unclean. Anyways, I hope you'll join me in an upcoming workshops. I'm going to post links down below to workshops coming up. I hope you will join me. I hope you will transform and change. We're not pursuing success. We're pursuing eternity. And in pursuing eternity, we learn that the game of pursuit is gone because we give up the concept of coming and going, and we embrace the idea of the here and the now. No coming, no going. I have already arrived.